The Doll by Jackie DeVille. "We have an order to how we do things," he said, twisting his fake beard and eating grapes. "I didn't become God arbitrarily." That was a lie. Those thousands of years ago, when the council of the leading immortals at Kor chose to go with an immortal instead of Daniel, the man in black robes at this point was gone. God had new plans for Kali. It was something more hellish than hell. He already knew who would take her place. Lucifer was in the lobby with Daniel just moments before, but the two never walked out before she got summoned inside. "I'm sending you to a place where you won't be able to move. You will be at the mercy of mortals day in and day out," God said. Kali laughed. "Ha! You mean like my office in hell?" "Something worse, actually." God pointed towards a chair that had a doll in it. "I don't understand," she lied. "No?" He almost dropped his toupee as he put his head back so arrogantly. "You don't remember Paula, Grandma Rutledge? You don't remember the solar deities you partied with? Old Odin of White?" "No, sir." She tried hard not to sweat. "Well, perhaps a few hundred years should reset your memory. How you were made and how you came to be a member at Kor and how you sabotaged the so-called corrupt office in Ernie before coming here under the protection of terrorists that I have been banishing left and right into the lake of fire." She wanted to tell him about the true nature of the lake. She wanted to scream at him for banishing the others and enslaving the rest. All she could think about was Daniel and Lucifer, wondering where their souls were. His office smelt of brimstone and ash and carbolic acid. It was a grim place with burnt pillars and rotting feathers of immortals long gone or misplaced. Kali knew about cycles. She had spent countless cycles as a goddess, an immortal who fought chaos and sometimes alongside chaos. Then she was demoted to hell when she changed companies after a controversial settlement in the East took place. She had shed light on the wicked as she always did, for destruction is in the very essence of life itself. Decay, rot, and entropy were some of her very limbs. She figured out now she was cornered by a vengeful and wrathful god named God. What kind of name is that anyways? "You will see to it that you learn, one way or another, goddess." Then God threw a stolen thunderbolt straight at Kali as her soul zapped into the trappings of the doll before her. It was the only kind of thunderbolt that can be thrown by an immortal if they aren't Zeus himself, who had run south. A stolen thunderbolt is a tricky devil. Whoever throws it gets what they want, but the caveat that God had failed in understanding, as he did many things, was that what you want is usually not on your side. Kali could not blink. She could not speak. God threw her to earth, where she was found by a farmer with a small ranch. He gave it to his daughter Paula. It was the avatar Kali assumed when spying on Mrs. Rutledge, for she had taken over a mortal husk, sending their soul to the ocean of CEOs. That was where Kali first met the real Grandma Rutledge and Paula, while Paula was daydreaming so long ago. Now that Paula was 23 years old, Kali stayed in a box, eyes wide open, in a dusty old attic for 100 years before being moved to a basement. As I have told you before, dear reader, you will find out everything once you've read until the end. It is pertinent to place this story at the beginning, for Kali herself does break out of the doll sooner than you think, but no sooner than Paula dying of old age sometime 80 years after God's punishing bolt sent her to her doom of dulled moments and stasis. To only see movement when moved, or to be stuck in an attic for that long, made Kali grow mad, and she forgot most of her old cycles of life and immortalities. But she remembered Daniel and Lucifer. She remembered them all right. I won't spoil the rest. Now, of course, as I've said before, Kali's files are loose and random, so we will place the next few stories of seeming unrelatedness at the beginning. There is an allusion to another set of documents on a property by a man named Stephen White. Those were called Secrets of the Ferns. I guess Stephen and whoever compiled the documents I found yesterday were colleagues. Who knows from where or when these gentlemen or possibly lady scholars came? Maybe time will tell. Perhaps humanity might know someday. If these stories are true, then I'm afraid humanity will never believe them. I'm afraid they will also misinterpret them, or see it as a chance to exploit and war with forms of being so outside their caliber, it's almost humorous to imagine. The fact that the latter of possibilities is the most likely contender, now that's the real tragedy right there. For Kali broke Lucifer out of hell, saved Judas's soul from permanent banishment to the alternate universe beyond the lake of fire, and she also brings justice to her own creator, Mrs. Rutledge, an immortal being who you find out later is an alien. She has a strangely keen interest in tracking down the man in black, and hopefully she is unaware of his new soul. She created Kali as a soldier. She did it so well, so long ago. Kali went rogue. But we leave off where she is jailed inside that cotton sack sewed plush doll with its curly black hair and beady eyes that stay open and cannot close.